Hey, good morning, City Limits Church family and all our friends, all who listen and follow us on the internet. I wanted to share with you that we finally finished our book out last night. I got a chance to be with the men, Pastor Bev, Pastor Andrea, Pastor Sherry. Got a chance to be with the women at a special meeting at their house, and we just kind of locked down our classes and kind of took the end out and kind of finished. And what we realized is that the emotional healthy relationships class, it was more about tools that you take into life, not just a book that you read and we got that one done and let's go to the next spiritual book, but it was about tools that we could use in everyday life, something that you take out into the world, take into your family, take to your job, take to your other friendships and relationships, in order to try to make them healthy, make them productive. And the first one, there were 8 major tools from the whole 40 days of reading our devotionals morning and night. There were 8 major tools, one per week, and there were 10 devotions per week, a morning and night devotion that focused on that main theme or topic and its purpose. The first one was the community temperature reading. That was incredible because it was made to increase our awareness of the people around us, of their feelings, of what they're thinking about, of how they're feeling, so that we could feel the room out and not just go around being centered all on how I feel in this place, but see how others are feeling, so that we could get a reading of what's going on. In the same way, this should be done with our families. We should make sure that we take a reading and see how people are doing. Is everything okay? Are you hurting today? Are you sick today? Do you feel okay today? Are you hurt about something? Is there a worry on your mind? And community temperature reading is really coming out of yourself and having a concern and a merciful compassion for what others may be feeling that day. And the use can be with your spouse or with your children, with your family, friends, anyone, neighbors, It can be in groups, formal, informal, anything, even on the job, in your professionalism on a work. It doesn't have to be all spiritual work. It can be a secular job, and you're still going there trying to find out, how can I get the best out of this? The second one was to stop mind reading. That was really incredible, to clarify what another person's thinking. Sometimes we find ourselves, when people are saying things to us, that we already know what they're talking about, or that we assume, what they expected of us, and we don't stop to ask questions. And a basic tool of this, how to build our relationships, is to clarify, is to stop mind reading, stop assuming that you know what I want or what I think or what I'm trying to accomplish, and just ask. Learn to communicate. It's such an important principle, to be able to speak to each other and to listen to one another and ask, what is it that you expect out of me? And be clear about that. Not be scared because, I've always had to please people, so I'm scared to let you know how I really feel. But to really explain yourself, explain what it is, and then even say it back to them. Say, what is it that you really expect from me? And the third one was to clarify our expectations. Stop mind reading. Stop thinking that you know what others are thinking. It makes you judge them. But then the third one is to clarify. Are you sure this is what you want me to do? Is this what you really expected out of me? I'm sorry, I misunderstood that, and I did something else. And then go ahead and do it from there. But don't let it cause a conflict in you because you failed, because you simply did not understand an expectation. Take your time and get that squared away. Understand that expectation is to recognize the certain expectations and the valid things that people have asked of you, or that you expect of others. Clarify them. Make sure that you communicate them. The fourth process in this toolkit was to genogram your family. Genogram our family. They say that Jesus is in your heart, but your grandfather's in your bones. And I thought that was so deep, because as we look at our families of origin, our families that we came from, we find that there are so many things that we've picked up, so many decades sometimes of habits that we pick that are just really bad, are not good at all, are not healthy to us at all. And it's important to go down, to take a deep look under. And I know that that's a very hard thing to do nowadays, is to be able to look under at our own faults and the things that might be happening, but understanding that if all we see is 10% of the iceberg and the 90% is beneath, then underneath could be a lot of bad habits, a lot of cursing, a lot of lying, a lot of cheating, a lot of manipulation, a lot of physical violence, a lot of verbal violence, emotional violence, a lot of things that we've done that we have learned. It's been learned behavior. You know, a child starts cursing and you think, oh wow, I wonder where they picked that up. Well, they didn't pick it up from TV. They picked it up from somebody else in their family, in their lineage. You know, does a man think it's okay to beat his wife? Does a man think it's okay to beat his children? Does a man think it's okay to go to the bar room every night? Does a man think it's okay to do this? Does a woman think it's okay to sleep around? Does a man think it's okay? All these things are learned as we take a look in this portion, in the genogramming of your family. We sit down and we look at what has happened in past relationships. Were they stable? Were they staggered? Were they absent and just void? You know, and it's a very good tool to see why and how we've become who we are. Another one is to explore the iceberg. Number 5 of the 5th tool was to explore your iceberg. And this is to become aware of your emotions, the goals, and how you process them. To become aware of your iceberg. To know that 90% is above, and that, 10% is above, and the 90% is at the bottom. So people see that 10%, and we think, well, that's you. It's really not us. You know, we spend most of our lives trying to live somebody else's dreams, somebody else's thoughts for us, somebody else's expectations for us. And God made us as individuals. And as we learn to love God, we should be who we are. And I think as we look at that iceberg, as we go beneath, as you put those glasses on and look underwater, and that's the scary part, is to take a real good look at yourself and be honest with yourself and say, man, I do this, I get angry, I react so quickly, and I do this, and I scream back. Whenever I'm hurt, I give this silent treatment. I stay away from those people. And many of these things are not the way we are, but things that we have learned. I'm not saying blame shift everybody. It was all my grandparents' fault, my parents' fault. No, I'm saying identify what they are so that you can move forward. Identify what is slowing you down and what is making you respond or react in a certain way so that you can move forward. And then number 6 was incarnational listening. I actually love this one. To listen at a heart level. You know, most times when we speak to people, we're speaking to them and we already are in response mode as they're speaking to us. And that's truly not listening incarnational. Incarnational means in the flesh. Listening to them, you know, I'm here, I'm present, I'm blocking out all my mind reading, and I'm blocking out on my iceberg all the things I think and I assume if I hear those keywords, and I'm listening to you. You know, I'm listening to you with time. I'm listening to you with empathy. You know, I'm listening to you with mercy. You know, I mean, I want to know how you feel. I want our relationship to work, and for that to work, I've got to know how you really feel, and then do something about it. And so, incarnational listening is to be attuned, not sometimes to the word. If you've ever ran into anyone and they're angry or they're hurt, and you feel like, wow, you know, I can't talk to them. Find out what's going on, you know, and be attuned to their body language and everything, and just get to the root of the matter. Why are you hurt? Or what's going on? Or what are you trying to say to me? And have them clarify that expectation back to you, to talk to you, and see beneath that iceberg. And even in your own life, ask yourself, why do I respond, react? Why do I get on the defensive if I'm ever criticized, or if I'm ever tried to be corrected, if somebody's trying to give me something good? Yet, because of that past genogram and that I can't fail anybody, I feel like I have to react in a negative way. So that was incarnational listening, truly listening, coming out of yourself, out of your own thoughts, out of your own judgments, and listening to another with a heart of mercy, compassion, and empathy. And number 7 was climb the ladder of integrity. Wow, that was it. Clarifying our values by processing our thoughts and feelings, and assert myself respectfully. You know, sometimes people will tell a joke something like that. Ha ha ha! I laughed. Was that funny? Yeah, it was funny. That was funny. That was hilarious. And maybe it hurt you. You know, sometimes somebody will say, "Hey, I'll be there to pick you up at 8 tomorrow morning. Please be ready, okay?" And you know, it's formal dress, and you waited at 8 in the morning, got up early at 7 to iron your things away, get yourself squared away, shower up and get ready, shine your shoes, and you waited till 8 and then till 9, and the person's battery was turned off, so when you called, they couldn't get through either. You finally got hot and took your tie off and waited around, but kept it near you just in case they did call, and eventually they never even made it to your home. And so the next day that you see them, they say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot to pick you up, man. My battery died. I just left." And you say, "Oh, that's okay. It was nothing. It was nothing." But really, that's a lie, because it was something. It hurt your feelings. And that day you're saying, "Man, I don't believe they dropped me off. I don't believe I got dressed. I don't believe I got up early for this. I don't believe I had my books and everything all ready to go. I was ready to give them some money for gas, and man, and they just left me here." What you did was tell them a lie. And we don't see that as lies anymore. We just see that as keeping the peace. But it's disingenuous. In order to have integrity, we go back and we learn the process of saying, "Hey, listen, I want you to know that I value our friendship. I value everything that we've been trying to accomplish here. I value honesty, and I want our friendship to grow. And in order for it to grow, I need to be honest with you. I lied to you a few days ago. I was hurt. I did feel bad that I got ready and waited for a while, and you never got there. And I was really excited about being there, and I need you to know the truth. And forgive me for lying to you, telling you that everything was fine. It wasn't." It kind of holds that person accountable. It also lets them off the hook. It also lets me know that I was integral in expressing my feelings to them, and not beginning to learn how to tell small lies, then more lies, and keep my integrity, things that I value. And finally, the 8th one was clean fighting. To resolve a conflict in a mature way by eliminating dirty fighting tactics and by taking responsibility for difficult issues. Eliminating dirty fighting. Everybody needs friends. All of us need that. Spouse, co-workers, family, people, neighbors. And sometimes starting out to do this can be very difficult. It can be hard because it's hard to fight a clean fight. But it's important to learn how to do it and just say, "Hey, listen, I had a disagreement with this and I didn't like it." And calm that person down and diffuse the situation. Say, "I value our friendship. I don't want this little thing to end our friendship. And if it does end it wasn't a friendship. I want to make this right. I want to say that I'm sorry if I had any part in it. I want to make sure that we deal with each other better." And this goes along with all the other principles. If I clarify my expectations, if I'm integral and I'm honest, if I do my community temperature reading, if I do all those things, if I explore my iceberg, if I do incarnational listening, I'll be able to hear people better. So it's not like, I learned how to do clean fighting. I like that one. But that these are all tools that we need to use together, not once, but daily. Honestly speaking, I've done this book 4 times now, maybe 5 almost, just scattering through it, and the other workbooks along with it. And I can honestly say that not till about the 3rd or the 4th time that I realized that in reading those devotions week after week, there was this powerful message. This powerful message that I finally gleaned as there's these 8 tools in my spiritual toolbox now. In my toolbox for life, in my toolbox for neighbors, in my toolbox for my children, in my toolbox for my wife, for my friends, and in my toolbox for the world, for the lost and the found, that I can use so that I can represent myself, how I'm supposed to be, how God intended me to be, and I can represent Christ. So I just want to thank you all for being a part of this. I want to thank all the ladies who are a part of their course as well. And I want you to know that we're looking forward to doing this class again in a different depth with men and women. And Debbie has agreed to do it with me and to be a part of that so that there can be that woman's touch there. And I just want you to know that we're going to have a great time. And I look forward to just a wonderful time of making our relationship strong, of loving God well, and of loving each other well. Thank you very much. God bless you. Pastor Jimmie out.